auto. Does his charge. Hit him with Imric. Hit him with the Son, detonation.
Your recalcitrance has doomed every pathetic creature in existence.
Can hit him with the Son, detonation again. Got him. Get hit him with the Son again. Got him.
Of defiance from this wretched world.
Hit him with the Son again. Got him again. So many detonations. Hit him again, hit him again.
There is no light save my
Hit him again.
no refuge save my shadow.
Again. It's unlimited.
Save my perfected intention.
Again.
I am creator and destroyer. I am will made manifest.
Oh, come on. Okay. There we go. We get detonate him again. Bam. And that should be it. Ah, I didn't even touch us. Oh, he did, apparently. Look at all the dots. So many detonations. All ranged abilities, too, which is super fun. It's just your character stays at range. We have unlimited mana, unlimited detonations. We didn't use our ult because it would actually slow us down. I love it. I love it. Hey YouTube, I'm just Anthony. Welcome back to another Veilguard video. It's a build guide video for the Mage again. So we went back to the Mage. This time I wanted to incorporate unlimited detonations. We do not have a cooldown on detonations. We have all of our abilities are going to be critting. We have every affliction in the game, and because we're ability spamming like normal, we have an invulnerable tank. So we just keep compiling it. Our ultimate does come off cooldown extremely fast as well because we're ability spamming, but we're not even using our ultimate. The ultimate's just there for flavor at this point. We're everything all in one. It is very fun to just cast detonations nonstop and on bosses, especially the dragons, because the dragons don't get to even play the game. I did put the footage of Veilguard right there at the start of the video. At the end of the video, I'm actually going to put the footage of our Blight Dragon kill that we did with the gear we had before we even started the end game. You know, before we started the last parts of the campaign, you get that special vendor and all that to get more items. We killed the level 50 Blight Dragon before we did all of that. He got annihilated, and that's with him being cold resistant. So he was very resistant to our main ability damage. Still just annihilated him because he just generally couldn't touch us because he was permanently detonated, so he was just slowed the whole time, which is super nice when they can't really fight back. You know, you're just pushing them in a corner. Like normal, we're going to start off with skill tree, going into gear, and then right into the companions. You can kind of already see our companions on this tree. Let's go over the combination actually first, now that we're on our companions. So we are an unlimited detonation build. Our main detonator is going to be Davrin. Even though he's over here, he's actually over here. He's going to be detonating with Death from Above, which is Hassan coming in. And that's going to be our detonator. He's detonating both our Arcane Shot, or sorry, our Ice Blast and our Corrupted Ground. He's detonating both of these for us. It's just crazy. These are both AoE. They're both going to apply, and because he has 0 cooldown and we can cast these non-stop in tandem on all the mobs everywhere around us, we can just constantly have detonations going off. And it is kind of nice that these are AoE applications, so even if you hit a group of mobs and you tell him to go in and attack, he's going to pick one of them, detonate it, and you're good to go. I do have all my abilities hotkeyed. You saw that in the Veilguard fight, just because I didn't want to constantly open up this menu right here to go click, 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 click. I advise everybody, as you get more fluid in the game, start trying to hotkey your companion abilities so you don't have to actually pause the game anymore. It makes it a lot of fun when you're not pausing. I had Imric constantly throwing out the bell tolls. For those who have watched my other videos, you already know my fascination and my love with the bell tolls. But that's that. Let's jump on over to the skill tree. Alrighty. This is our skill tree. This is what we got. We are still going Spellblade because it is great for affliction stacking, and for ability spamming with blast abilities. I tried the other classes. They're just not as good as ability spamming or being able to ability spam the way you can because of the massive mana reduction or using no mana at all with blast abilities. Let's start at the bottom, go straight to Spellblade to talk about what the important abilities. We have blast abilities cost 50 less mana, so instead of 100, they're 50. We have over here shocked and burning stacks +1/+1. We have apply burning, apply shocked, and apply shocked applies burning. These are the most important 3 of this area. Everything else still has situational usage, more AoE when the targets reach max shocked. Very important. Let's move up. We are grabbing every ability on the skill tree for that 15% bonus ability damage when you acquire a skill on the skill tree. This applies to everything. So grab every skill, very important. Moving on over here, blast abilities deal 50% more damage versus armor and barrier. We're just using blast abilities, very good. Over here, projectile abilities now deal critical damage to enemies suffering from necrosis. Arcane Shot is going to be one of the abilities we're using, and it's very easy to apply necrosis. We have both Imric and we are applying necrosis right over here when we're using the corrupted ground. So we have 2 ways to apply necrosis to make sure this is always critting. Let's keep going over here. We have more ability power. Electric damage takedown. Pretty much the most important thing is coming down here, getting that +1 maximum shock stack. Coming back over here, ability power, and then we have 50 more mana. 50 more mana, this is great. This is just more damage for your abilities depending on the bonus damage from your staff and your orb. Just a little damage buff. Coming up here, we have abilities deal an additional 150 damage in a 6-meter radius when activated. This is for your control abilities, but our Ice Blast that we're using is a control ability. And then we have projectile abilities deal 75% more damage to barrier. Again, that goes with that. Projectile abilities launch an additional projectile. The damage type changes based off your equipped staff. And then we have, this is the most important for the affliction side of this build, is all active afflictions on enemies get increased by 1 stack when you hit them with a control ability, which is, again, our Ice Blast. So it's so amazing that it's doing everything for us. Right here, very important, get that +1 maximum chilled stacks. Coming up here, we get our Ice Blast. We get awesome filler nodes that do some nice things. Control abilities grant deflect after you deal a critical strike. All of our abilities are dealing critical strikes. We are getting constant deflect with our Ice Blast, and we're getting deflect when we detonate. I'll show you that with the companion. So our deflect, if it does drop for any reason we get hit, we're usually getting it back super quickly, which is a huge layer in defense. We are playing Nightmare, don't forget. So we got here more ability, more pathing. Coming down here, advantage, not too much important things. We do have corrupted ground. This applies weakened. This applies weakened. So these are our 2 abilities that we're going to be using to apply so our companion can detonate. It's also nice that this is applying our necrosis, this is applying our chilled, this is applying our burning and our shocked. So our 3 abilities that we can spam are applying 4 of the necessary elements, and we ourselves are also applying bleeding from our equipment. So we apply all 5 elements. Moving down, other important nodes, we have deal 5% bonus damage for each unique primer and affliction on your target. Very important. More ability power, more affliction duration. Down here, we have affliction damage, more ability power. These are some good ones too. Defeating a burning enemy grants rally party. We're always defeating burning enemies. Everything's burning. The whole screen's burning. So we're going to get rally party. We also get rally party from our detonation. Lots of ways to get rally party. This one's good for just your general blast ability damage. It is increased by 25% more. We're not really detonating with Sundered from our arcane shot, but if you are using a companion while leveling up and you go this way first, you can then use this as a detonation ability, even though it doesn't do anything at the start. And then, of course, most important, we want that burning stack. Let me back out again. This is the skill tree one more time for our detonation mage. All unlimited detonations, all afflictions. Let's move on over to the equipment. Alrighty, equipment page. One thing you're going to notice is a lot of this is the kind of the same as our Affliction Mage, because we are still trying to stack afflictions like our previous build, but with some differences. We are still using this burn orb because we want the +1 maximum burning stacks and plus 20% burning damage per stack. Burning damage is actually going to be important for our detonation damage as well, so we actually got a little bit more burning. Sharpened Dragon Bone. Companions ignore enemy defenses while Rally Party is active, and companion cooldowns are reduced by 15% while Rally Party is active. Remember, we can get Rally Party in a couple ways. More companion cooldown is very good. Then we have this Glacial Rod. We're using this mainly for the legendary affix, where it gives 2 maximum chilled stacks. Enchants on these don't matter. The most important item, once again, for this type of build is the helmet. It's a trend. You see most of these builds, the helmet is a big part of it. This is a different helm from our Affliction build we're doing. This is a Detonation build. We have a Detonation helmet. All of these are good. Everything on this helmet is good, but the last thing is the most important, is the legendary. Companion cooldowns reduced by 50% when they perform a detonation. This is going to go with Davrin with his detonation ability, but that's only 50% of the cooldown though, but that's huge. We put ultimate generation on that because we're spamming our abilities, and we can get our ultimate very quickly when we're spamming abilities. Going down, we are still using the Jumper's Deft Leathers. This is more mana, more max mana. It gives you more defense from your max mana, so we're mana stacking again. After using an ability with the mana cost, you gain bonus damage. Very nice little bonus. We did change our belts to the twin buckle binding just for the ability power and the enhanced damage on potion use, and it gives us quickened on a potion use. That is 2 advantages, so that's 20% more damage if you were to pop a potion. I could have probably popped a potion in that Elgadon fight and did more damage. Didn't really need to though. He died super quickly and it was enjoyable. Going on over here, this is very, very, very important. Just like we had in the previous Affliction Blast build, you need this Blast necklace all the way upgraded. The wonderful thing about this necklace is you can get it by just defeating all of the champions in the different zones. Those champions that drop the essences to unlock all the different crossroads. And those champions, they only go up to like level 35 or 40 if I'm not mistaken. So by your level 40, you should be able to beat all the champions, and every time you beat a champion, you're going to get this necklace and the little chest behind them. Some people will forget it, or they don't look where the cocoon was, and it's just a little teeny tiny one of those tiny chests. A lot of rings, necklaces, and stuff like that come from those little chests in this game. They don't come from those big chests that you kick open. I hope that everybody's realizing that's why searching for those little teeny tiny jewelry chests is very important, and they're not shown on your map. You just have to find them, and that's going to give you a ton of your rings and your necklaces. Going over here, we have our burn ring and we have our shock ring, same as before. Difference is though, we have 50 mana, and here is our bleeding ability. Crits apply bleeding on ability critical. That's what we put on there, so we do not have to rely on our companions to apply the bleed. This is really important too, because when you're just playing through the game and going through the game, you can open up on corrupted ground, hit everybody with the corrupted ground, and then immediately open with arcane shot. This hit multiple targets in front of you as well. The arcane shot is always going to crit because you applied necrosis, and because of our skill tree, arcane shot crits, and then you just start stacking. From there on, you start stacking all of your elements, because then you follow up with ice blasts into detonations. It's great, but when this crits, you need it to apply bleeding, which is what this ring is for, because the crit condition for your ice blast is target is inflicted with bleeding. So your rotation is corrupted ground into your arcane shot into your ice blast. You only have to cast corrupted ground if necrosis is not on the target. If the targets have necrosis, you do not ever have to cast corrupted ground again. You're just casting these two back and forth, back and forth. That's all you're doing. Or generally, you could just cast Ice Blast. Ice Blast on cooldown to kill different targets, because Davrin's going to be doing his detonation non-stop. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Those are the 2 rings. If our previous build, we had, I believe it was blast damage and mana. So we took away our blast damage to get apply bleeding on ability crit. Coming on over here to the dagger, instantly regain 100% of your mana. We still got that as our active. gives us 10% more ability damage, and if you're ever in a bad situation, you need that mana back, getting the whole mana bar is huge. And then of course we have consume, 50 more max mana, and then of course we have that potion again. I like having more than 3 potions in general. That is the gear setup. It's mainly based off this helmet is the biggest piece that you need to get this build working. This helmet and the necklace. The necklace is easy though. Try to get this helmet. I got it before 50 fully upgraded. It is very, very important. Let's move on over to companions. Alrighty, companions. The 2 people we're using, Davrin and Imric. Davrin we're using because of he's insane for detonating. Let's go to his skill tree real fast so I can show you why. He is detonating with death from above. It does a lot of cool things. You know, on detonation you gain rally party, detonation damage, but then this one. On detonation, this ability's cooldown is reduced by 50%. You know, it's a 20-second cooldown normal, 26-second cooldown normally. We already have the helmet that does 50%. This adds. They stack with each other. So when he detonates, he has to be the one to detonate. When he detonates the target, it's 100% cooldown reduction, and death from above is instantly able to be used again. Fantastic. We also do have him as a defender. I don't think this really matters, but it says when used, Asan abilities grant deflect, and Asan abilities have a 25% shorter cooldown duration. That's kind of nice. If you miss this and you click on some other target that wasn't ready, didn't have a primer on it, and he actually goes on cooldown, it is kind of nice that you had that 25% shorter, so you don't have to wait forever for it to come back. And of course, like I said, granting deflect when he does that, it's just more defense for us. Going through his items are still important as well. Attack my target applies vulnerability to fire, and vulnerability to fire damage is increased by 25%. This is why I do have him do attack my target. The reason is his chest piece. Detonations damage is now dealt as fire damage, and it says deal plus 25% more fire damage for each stack of burning on the target. That's why on our gear, we're trying to put as many stacks of burning on the target we can, so we can help Davrin do big detonation explosions, which he is. And then of course we put plus 25% detonation damage on it for even more detonation damage. So this is the first time I've ever gone all in on a detonation companion, and it actually does a ton, and it's awesome. It carried me. And then going down to his little trinket, Davrin's weapon damage is converted to fire, so he's just all fire now. Moving over to Imric, everybody that already knows me, Imric, first off, he's giving us 25% more affliction damage, so all those afflictions that we're putting on the target, they're all 25% stronger. He is applying necrosis for us too if we need him to. Remember, our missiles crit as long as the target has necrosis, so you can actually, if you're running low on mana, you don't have to cast your corrupted ground. You can have Imric, when he casts his ability, he's going to put necrosis on the target, so then you can immediately go into your missiles. You don't have to wait to use corrupted ground. It is 100 mana when you use corrupted ground, so sometimes it's easier to have Imric just apply the necrosis for you. But the bell tolls, we're going down here, quietus. While the bell tolls is active, which is a dot on the target, you gain 5 mana every second. This is in a few of my builds. He is so crazy. Our last rogue build, I had to take him out because I needed to make a build that didn't involve Imric, because quietus is insane. It's so good, but we had to get him back into this build. You can technically use whoever you want, but you might run out of mana and actually have to use your ruin. As you saw, I didn't even have to use my ruin in the Elgarnom fight. I didn't have to use my ruin against the Blight Dragon either at the end, where I'll show you the footage at the end. So Imric is just there to make sure you don't run out of mana, but you can use anybody else, really. Your affliction damage is going to suffer, and your mana is going to drain a little bit faster. So I think having him, it's just a win-win. His items don't matter too much. We're not detonating with his chest. I do have affliction damage. I gave him 1 revival charge, so you have that little get out of jail free. If you do go down, you get wombo comboed by the enemy. It happens to everybody. It even happens to me. We all get wombo comboed on Nightmare randomly. Get hit in the corner and just bam, 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 and you're like, what the heck, I'm dead. So, and then we have cooldowns on him. Those are the 2 companions. All right, guys, well, there you have it. That is the build. Like always, if you enjoyed the guide, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I am planning to play Path of Exile 2 when that comes out. That is a game where build crafting is way more intense than this. So if you're a player of Path of Exile and you would like some builds for that, or you're a new player and you've never even played Path of Exile 1, I would suggest getting Path of Exile 2. It's a brand new game with a completely new combat system. And if you want guides that you can understand why something works the way it does, hopefully I'm going to be making guides in that way. Very in-depth with a lot of details, so even a new player or a veteran can pick whatever they need out of it and use the same build for success. That is my goal pretty much. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you for watching. We are working on a warrior right now, a nightmare warrior. Like always, you never know, might have an infinite ability casting warrior with all the afflictions and invulnerable tank and all ability crits. You know me, I like to just do it. That's kind of what I like to do, is make sure you can throw the whole kitchen sink into the character. Yeah, anyways guys, thanks for watching. I'm out of here. All right, dragon, I know you're resistant to cold damage. Let's see how we do though.
Eyes up, weapons ready.
A lot of our damage is cold with the spike. Let's go ahead and skip all this.
There.
Big boy.
Destroy it before the corruption eats us alive.
All right, let's begin. He hit me with that because I ulted. I don't know if I should have ulted there. I didn't need to. He's perma-detonated. He can't do much. You got all afflictions on him. I'm gonna begin with this, then I'm gonna get with that. Other ult. Hit him with that again. Hit him with that again. We got pulled into this realm. That's okay though. Make sure we don't lose our stacks on anything. And we're out. He's almost staggered. You gonna fly again, my guy? That's right. You're over half dead. So happy I got to attack my target off for all of our afflictions before we got... Damn it. Jeez. Ult again. Yeah, even though he's pretty damn resistant to our attacks and elements, like we haven't had to use any potions. He's hit us like once or twice. He's gonna die to dots. And he's dead.
Ah, nicely done.
Okay, I would say the build does pretty darn good. Nightmare, Blight Dragon, piece of cake.
Corruption.